What's up, future Bitcoin millionaires? Are you ready for another USI Tech update? I'll have it coming up for you right after this. What's up, future Bitcoin millionaires, and welcome back to another USI Tech update. That's right, you've read it correctly. USI Tech has finally broke their silence, and they have came out and spoke openly about what's going on in US and Canada. And today, what I want to talk about is the situation at hand. So as you know, if you've been following along with all of my USI Tech updates, this has been going on since about January the 5th, when USI Tech suddenly popped up a notice in our dashboard telling us that they are no longer doing business with the US and Canada and giving us this termination of distributor agreement and all that good stuff. They said they'd have it straightened out in 2 weeks. That 2 weeks has really ran over at this point. Then they came out with this notice, which was a follow-up to the first one. And then they took the wallets away and said they would be back in 48 hours and all that good stuff. It's been way over the 48 hours. And nobody had heard anything from any leader or co-founder or anything inside of USI Tech until yesterday. So yesterday, you might have noticed that the BTC balance had returned to your dashboard, all right? So several people were jumping up and down and cheers everywhere. Hey, USI Tech is coming back to US and Canada, praise the Lord! And what many people are reporting is that this balance is absolutely incorrect. I've done the math. It's just a little bit off on my side. I'm not sure how it is on your side. Feel free to let me know in the comments below. And so another big thing that happened yesterday was the co-founder of USI Tech, Horst, decided to come out and do kind of an interview back and forth. And I'm going to play you a little clip from that.
A lot's been going on. Obviously, we had a fantastic year last year. We did an interview back end of last year. Fantastic feedback on that. But we've come into the new year. There's been a lot of changes. Obviously, the withdrawal of USI from the USA and Canada was one of the biggest things that's happened early this year. Can you just tell us what were the events that led up to that happening? And made you decide to actually come out of the States and Canada. If you can just elaborate a little bit on that so people understand what predicament the company was put into.
There are two reasons why we finally came to this decision. The first thing I have to tell you is, I don't know, but since we are in the business, we always told people, I always told people, that I'm happy to fight for USA for many reasons. And but I also told, whenever I had a chance to speak to the audience or to our partners live on live events, I always told them, please be aware, if you don't market and communicate our business right, especially in USA, with all the difficulties, not only with us as USI Tech, but also many other companies, we're gonna have some difficulties. And then finally, difficulties appeared, and our lawyers, and Jonathan is one of them, who was in charge with all this. He had to communicate all these upcoming issues with Texas, Canada, and what else. And that was ongoing, and we have sent out many warnings where we told people again and again, please don't behave with this marketing communication. Don't come up with this hype of our business or whatever, overselling of our business by showing your back offices, your incomes, your Ferraris, your Lamborghinis, your millions of incomes. We do have the best market plan, and we do have high incomers in our business, and that's great. But this overhype in USA especially made many whatever offices or law departments a bit nervous, and Jonathan, our lawyer, was dealing with that, and that was one case. And I come back to Jonathan and our where we are with all this. So the other thing was, we realized in December there was a out of a system error in our system a huge abuse in our system from partners, or a lot of partners. And finally, that was the reason why we decided to switch off USA and Canada in order to stop the wrong communication in the market, one thing, and stop the abuse as well. So that was the reason why I finally decided to switch USA and Canada off.
So at this point, I'm going to stop it right there and save you the next 3 or 4 minutes of your life and your eardrums as well, because apparently they did not think that the sound of messages and dinging and bells ringing and Skype calls coming in and everything else was that important to turn off during this live stream, because they constantly go off. And as you can see, a lot of fumbling around with answers and all that crap going on. So bottom line, what he just said was they knew about this issue back in December, and this had been going on since God knows when, but they finally decided back in December, hey, maybe we should do something about this, but let's not tell anybody first. Let's just do it. Let's just do whatever the hell we want to do, because there's not people with a lot of money invested in the U.S. and Canada. We'll just switch them off. So like I said, he just fumbles around with the answer, and later on in the interview, he gives 2 or 3 different answers as to why they switched off, but it basically all boils down to this. Back in December, they figured out that people were creating multiple accounts to withdraw more than the maximum 2 Bitcoin per day limit. And so what happened was people were actually making a ton of money with this USI Tech system, and they were actually making too much money for USI Tech to keep up with the amount of reserves they needed to hold to pay everybody their withdrawals. So what basically happened was, because of this abuse, USI Tech ran out of reserves to pay everyone. So instead of just coming out and saying, hey, you know what, there's some abuse going on in the system, this is what's going on, and people are cheating the system, or whatever it is you want to call it, they just decided, hey, let's just cut everything off. Let's give some vague explanations. Let's contradict ourselves 2 or 3 times and leave everybody confused and panicked for the next few weeks. And then we'll come out with some kind of statement 30 minutes after we get a legal draft from our legal team, brought to you by the good people probably over at LegalZoom or wherever the hell they're using their legal team from. Obviously don't care about the U.S. or Canada, not only the promoters, but the customers, who are all freaking out because some of them have taken out mortgages, some of them have put their 401ks into USI Tech, and USI Tech has handled this situation very, very poorly with the lack of communication. So after a little bit more fumbling around with answers and blaming stuff on legal teams and wrong promoters in the US and Canada, and saying, hey, we as a company, USI Tech, never did anything wrong, blah, 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 he finally gets to the news that everyone on the internet is going crazy about.
We are working since then on a legal statement, and we are almost there where we believe we can switch USI Tech and USA and Canada on again. Today I got the latest draft of our attorney and legal statement, which we're going to make officially, which points out more than clear that we never had an issue, we as a company, in terms of unlegal activities. But
wait, did he just say that they never had an issue with illegal activities going on in the U.S. and Canada? But isn't that the same line of bullcrap that we've been fed over the last 3 weeks about why all this is going on?
Today I got the latest draft of our attorney and legal statement, which we're going to make officially, which points out more than clear that we never had an issue, we as a company, in terms of unlegal activities.
Just wanted to make sure I was clear on that, because the second line of this whole extraordinary termination of distributor agreement says clearly that we were utterly dismayed to learn that a large number of our sales partners extensively advertise our services on their own websites as well as on social media in a manner which is a breach of contract as well as illegal. And which gives the appearance that our service portfolio both violates the U.S. and Canadian law. Okay? And that's not the only time that they use the word illegal in their little letter here. Right here, it says it cannot be ruled out that this illegal advertising by distributors involved will cause the relevant authorities to suspect that our company itself is promoting this type of advertising activity or at least tolerates it. All right, then the next use says, with respect to those sales partners whose illegal advertising behavior is responsible for this current situation. So, if the statement is true that he just made about there being nothing illegal going on in the company, and the lawyers have said, hey, there's nothing illegal going on, then A, why were we told that there is illegal stuff going on, and that's why the shutdown happened? And B, what is the reason that the shutdown happened?
What happened is, out of the system error, if you remember, I always...
Wait a minute, did he just say system error? So there was an error on the USI Tech side that allowed people to register other accounts that were apparently fake. Okay, so this was an internal problem with USI Tech, right?
I was always talking on stage and live and whatever. The most important part are our reserves. So reserves means we always need to have enough in our reserves in order to be able to pay BDC packages, return of BDC packages back. So out of this abuse, we, especially in USA, not only in USA, but especially in USA, we damaged our reserves. Why? Because at the beginning of our business, it was trading only. We came from the Forex trading, as you remember. We then switched on the cryptocurrency trading, and then we blocked in mining, and mining was our main focus in terms of long-term investments within the last months. And that's exactly the problem, that we are now on long-term investments, and we have damaged a bit our reserves at the moment.
So basically, my takeaway from all of this at this point is A, there was never anything illegal going on that caused this USI Tech to pull out of US and Canada. And B, the reason that they really shut down is because people were creating these fake accounts and withdrawing more Bitcoin than what they were supposed to with one account. And USI Tech just flat out ran out of money to pay people, and they were like, oh shit, we better shut this shit down before people find out we don't have any money. That's why withdrawal requests were taking so long. That's why they're frozen now, is because USI Tech is trying to build back up their reserves from people who were illegally, or however you want to put it, withdrawing Bitcoin. And they just flat out went broke, in my opinion. I don't know. That's just my takeaway. I'd love to get your take on it. I'd love to know what you think about what we've heard so far, and find out what's going on. But with all that being said, let's find out when we can expect for our full account of privileges to be returned and how all that process is going to go.
You probably can't answer these, but I'm going to ask anyway. Have you thought about time frames in launching back into the States?
The way we're going to switch USA and Canada back on again will be, first of all, we have to take care, as I always told everybody who was in front of me or I was involved in discussions, our first priorities are our customers, as they are participating in our business with our brilliant product, BDC packages, and we're going to switch this on first of all. So we're going to continue to let people withdraw their return of BDC packages, which is their money they have invested into our company. But out of the fact that we have closed USA and Canada until today, we're going to do that in a controlled form, because I'm a bit afraid that that's going to be, once we switch it on again, it's going to be like a bank robbery. Everybody think.
Wait, did he just say just like a bank robbery? So now he's worried about his money being stolen, right? So when it was our money that we were worried about, no big deal, no announcements, we'll just take away their wallets and available balance. But now you're worried about it being a bank robbery situation where people are going to massively withdraw their money from USI Tech just because of what's going on over the past 3 weeks. So now you're worried because it's going to affect the company in some way. But it didn't matter when it just affected us, though, right?
He has to take out or pull out as much as possible because maybe it's just for a short time frame or whatever. So it has to be in a controlled way in order to make sure that we protect the company. But of course, it was never the intention to steal someone's money or to take someone's money away. We have still ongoing investigations, and these investigations have to be finalized in order to filter out, and I mentioned this already, a lot of abuses in our system with fake accounts, double accounts, and not so regularly takeouts in terms of withdrawals and money.
All right, guys, so I'm not going to spend any more time picking apart this video, this live stream that happened yesterday, because honestly, it's just a whole bunch of circling around to the same questions and answers, a bunch of more dings and phone calls and instant messages and whatever else they got going on over there. But if you want to see the full live stream video, I've left a link for you down in the description. I encourage you to go check that out. Of course, this is great news that USI Tech is opening back up to the US and Canada. However, I wouldn't get too hopeful just yet because right now all we have is some numbers on the computer screen. We don't have access to our wallets. We can't withdraw anything. We don't honestly know when that'll be. There's no set in stone date. We don't know if that's going to be later this week. We don't know if it's going to be a month from now, when it's actually going to take place. So, of course, it is great news. I'm not trying to make this whole thing negative. I'm just somebody who was raised to think for myself and not be a sheep and go along with the flow and all that stuff. And I realized that I'm going to catch a lot of flack for that, a lot of negative opinions. A lot of people say, hey, Jeff, you're just a fucking dumbass and all this and other. I get in the comments all the time. I don't care. Honestly, I respect your opinion. Please respect mine. Please respect the opinions of other people who are leaving comments on this video, because we all have our opinions and differences, and we see things a different way. So all I ask that if you're going to leave a comment, just make it a respectful one and one that adds value to the conversation. That's all I ask. And I would love to get your thoughts and opinions as always. What do you think about this USI Tech announcement that was released yesterday? Is it another lie? Is it going to be another, hey, we'll figure this out in 2 weeks? Is it going to be another, hey, give us 48 hours? And here it is 3 weeks later and way past 48 hours. And we just got our available balances back, all that good stuff. But hopefully the wallet will be rolled out soon. We'll be able to start making withdrawals. At the last part of that, I have no clue how that withdrawal process is going to take place. Before, it had to be like a minimum of $100 or $120 that you had to have in your account to make a withdrawal. Who knows if they're going to bump that up to $500 or $1,000 to prevent people from being able to take out their money very, very quickly. Who knows what's going to happen, right? So there's still a lot of unanswered questions even after that live stream. I am extremely grateful to finally get some kind of communication from USI Tech on this whole situation. However displeasing it is to me, you can't just come out and say, hey, we shut this down due to illegal activity, and then come out in a live statement and say, hey, there was nothing illegal going on. Our lawyer said there was nothing illegal going on, when you clearly mentioned to us and told us for 3 weeks that there was some illegal activity going on. That was the reason for the shutdown. Instead of just telling us, hey, you know what? People gamed the system. They created these fake accounts, which somehow we didn't catch in our system. And it was an internal problem the whole time. And we just flat out ran out of reserves. We flat out ran out of Bitcoin to pay people. And we screwed up. They don't want to take responsibility for anything that they have caused on their end. It's always been blaming the promoters, blaming the US, blaming Canada, blaming the people in Texas, blaming anyone but themselves. All we ask is that you take responsibility for your actions for not releasing communications before doing something. If you knew about this back in December, this should have been addressed clearly beforehand, and not just, hey, we're just pulling the plug on this thing and we'll just leave you up in the air about what's going on. So it has been the MO of USI Tech up to this point to just do stuff and then tell you about it later. we do not, as customers or promoters of USI Tech, do not like that style of business, right? And so, yeah, he is right. There will be tons of people who are like, no, you could fool me once, shame on you, but fool me twice, shame on me. I'm pulling my money out. I don't care what you do with yours. If you want to rebuy some packages, go for it. Myself, I don't like taking that kind of risk with that kind of money. So I will be one of the ones that he's talking about with the bank robbery situation, pulling my money out as fast as possible. So, like I said, give me your thoughts and opinions on this whole situation, on this new USI Tech update. I'd love to hear from you. Keep it positive, keep it constructive. Don't just flat out troll somebody or dog somebody just because they have a different opinion from yours. Hit that like button on this video if you like what I'm doing here, and subscribe to the channel so you can get regular updates on not only what's going on with USI Tech, but other things in the cryptocurrency world. Thank you so much for tuning in to this USI Tech update, and I hope that you have a great rest of the day.